Oh my goodness, it's Sunday! And you know what that means, JB? Tell them what's on the show today.
We got news, and we are going to talk about the greatest heel turns of all time. Not the heel of a bread, not the heel on your foot. Heel turns. I love heel turns. All this and more on this week's edition of the All Effin' Wrestling Show.
Hit it!
Coming to you live from the Effin' Worldwide Media Studios, located in parts unknown.
It's the All Effin' Wrestling Show.
With your hosts, Canada Dry, and the JFB.
Tell me how it's priced. Tell me if the item is for sale. And tell me.
JB,
Yeah.
it says Effin' Worldwide 2023. We're not even copyrighted anymore, so people can steal our logo.
That will be changed. Morning, afternoon, in some places. Don't go to bed just yet, because we have a great show planned for today. Welcome to this week's edition of the All Effin' Wrestling Show. I am, of course, your adjunct professor, because this is not a funny moment. This is a teaching moment. We're going to teach you a lot of things today. I am, of course, the JFB. Happy Pride Month to everybody. I was at Pride. I was at a Pride parade yesterday, volunteering. I love this time of the month. It's awesome. Welcome.
Yeah. Did you see that? I was going to say. Sorry, you go first. Canada Dry.
We know we have a thing when we introduce ourselves. You know, it's got to get rid of the rigmarole. I am, of course, the patron saint of professional wrestling. I am that gingered up, bubbly, cracker ass son of a bitch. I'm Canada Effin' Dry, and I'd like to give a shout out to my good friend, Bad Take Cade. Of course, he's got the shirt.
He's got the shirt.
Bad Take Cade, all day, every day. You're fishy.
I mean,
he needs to shave the pubes, though. They're coming up to that top, you know, they're really overgrown on his head.
I know. You need to shave down there sometimes, Bad Take.
I mean, we got multiple shirts that came out. We got the Joke shirt.
That's not about CM Punk. That's not about McDonald's.
Thousands of jabroni served. We got the.
That's not about Batman.
That's one of my favorite ones.
That's not about Mickey Mouse.
That's not Mickey Mouse.
It's not Mickey Mouse. It's Steamboat Willie. There's a difference.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is not about the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
This is not about the Ninja Turtles.
Not about the Ninja Turtles. Of course, you can always go to prowrestlingtees.com/Effin' to get all of your amazing professional wrestling gear to show the world how much you love our show.
You know what I could go for right now?
What's that?
A pot noodle?
No, a Pride cupcake.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of rainbows all over. No.
I like that.
No.
The guy right over there in that corner.
It's not Christopher Lloyd.
It's not Christopher Lloyd. It's not Professor Plum, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you know it's not?
He's our saltiest of the saltiest people in the face of the earth. Talk about Alex Haney. How's it going, Mr. Haney?
It's going okay. I've had a bit of a rough week since I've come back from Disney. Obviously, leaving, I wasn't feeling too well with the heat, and then I've been bugged out all week. So, yeah, it's not been a good time.
Yeah.
It's not been a good time.
Sorry.
I mean, you know what they
Now-
say in Florida.
I have a question for you, Alan.
Yeah.
So, if you don't put any salt on your chips,
I don't put salt on my chips.
do they automatically get salty because you're salty?
I don't put salt on my chips at all.
Yeah, I know, but because you don't, they're already salty, right? Because you're salty.
No, I mean, why would you put salt in a bag of chips? You know,
Not a bag of chips. We're talking French fries.
Yeah.
chips.
I'm going to your neck of the woods and calling them chips.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Right.
Like
Yeah,
if I'm talking to JP, I'm calling it soccer, and if I'm talking to you, I'm calling it football. This is just the polite way to do it.
You do know that salt on chips is bad for you. So is vinegar.
No. I love
you
salt and vinegar chips, though.
Did you know
Yeah.
Americans think we're stupid for putting vinegar on chips?
Morons.
Yeah, but they put like layers and layers of like hot butter on popcorn. I was at the cinema. We went to see If in Disney, and like always, there's somebody in front of us, and it's like he's at the machine. He's got his popcorn, and all. It's like, and by the end of it, the butter was dripping out the bottom of it, and
Oh man, I don't mind the butter, but when you start putting that powder shit all over it,
Oh.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's worse than microwave popcorn. Anyways,
Yeah.
the guy beneath me, he's he's got a Bullet Club ring.
oh god,
He used to be a relief pitcher. He was kind of our third goalies. Then he became a backup goalie. Now he's a full-time goalie. He's our starting goalie. Talk about Showtime. Showtime, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, bros. My throwing arm actually is a little bit sore. I played a little bit disc golf today, so if you keep seeing me do this, it's like, yeah, no, I gotta stretch up the throwing arm. But
The JFB
hey,
did
I gotta sit on the bench once in a while.
Yeah, JFB did disc golf one time. I lost 4 discs in trees, and that was the end of my sojourn, if you will, into disc.
I played golf once, and then I wasn't invited back because I was too loud.
I couldn't imagine.
It's like you're going to hit a ball. You know what was it? It's like way.
do you know that is one of the greatest underrated PlayStation games of all time? Disc golf.
What's that?
Disc
Disc
golf,
golf, really?
PlayStation Move.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, like one of my friends was telling me
It
about
was
it.
freaking great.
Yeah, they have one on the Wii too that people talk about too to this day.
The one on PlayStation Move was fantastic.
Yeah. So we got some stuff to do, a little house cleaning, if you will. That's me mopping the floor. And of course, the only way we can start our beautiful, wonderful show is by starting with news. From the 4 corners of the globe, from our studios to your home, this is FNN, the FN News Network, starring Canada Dry and the JFB. All right, now we got quite a few people here, and this is going to lead into our first story. So we got Matt. Of course, Matt is a huge Markova fan, much like we are. She is a friend of the show. Noob's in the house. Hey, everybody, how you doing today? Doing well. We're
He's
doing
also
good.
a huge Markova fan.
Yeah, who's also a huge-
Markova Army here.
yeah. Matt says he can't wait for the 4th of July. It's his favorite holiday. Mine's
Now,
holiday.
is he putting the U.S. flag there? Because I can't imagine him typing U.S. U.S.
I think he's putting it in there. Yeah, and then of
So,
course,
so we have an election on the 4th of July this year in the UK. So we've got to go out and vote. So yes, because
we got one coming in November for the soul of our country.
oh
It's going to be a felon.
Okay, let's not talk politics. Let's keep this politics out of here.
yeah.
So, speaking of Markova Army never surrender, and it brings us to our first entry, if you will.
Okay, let me just say I have to put this up because it really grinds my gears that this took so long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Took so long.
This is really interesting because this is Billy Corgan. He is, of course, the owner and the primary booker for the NWA. And I have to say, I've watched a little bit of the NWA recently, and it reminds me a little bit of the old school NWA back in the day. And so this is Billy Corgan talking about who he feels is the best professional wrestler in the world. And this is it right here.
Trying to give me their best and understands the plan and really wants to be a team player. And there's somebody on this stage that I can point to right now that is absolutely that person and has done everything. And I said it in the show. That's Natalya right there. She is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And notice I'm not saying one of the best female wrestlers in the world. I'm saying she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And sometimes my
So that's Markova. She is sitting with Billy Corgan. So we're all Markova marks on this show.
Yeah.
Great friend.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Let's talkie, Mr. Billy Corbin, and put the belt on her, you idiot.
I was mentioning that to those guys earlier. When is she gonna finally get it?
But let me just say this. When Natalya posted this, I felt so vindicated.
Yeah.
Because I've been saying this for years.
Yep.
And I guess I can reveal this. Me and Natalya were having a conversation about a week ago, and I said, like you really are similar to Bret Hart in that you can make anyone look good.
Yeah. And
she told me that's what Billy said, and I'm like, me and Billy are on the same wavelength.
You guys got that ESPN?
Yeah, ESPN up here.
So you're a Trump supporter as well?
Yeah.
No, let's not do that, please.
we got a next thing, and that's Gable Stevenson. Now we all know Gable Stevenson, in fact, has been released by WWE. Talk about potential. I think it's a cross between just Gable Stevenson not catching on to American style of professional wrestling. I think a lot of it too is the WWE just doesn't have the patience to sit there and wait for this big name to finally get it. He's now officially with the NFL. That's right. He has signed to play, I don't know what position, but he's going to play for the Buffalo Bills in American football. So, good luck there, buddy. You're going to.
He's defensive end.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's looking like it's on the defensive line, like what they tried to do with Brock Lesnar. But all because he signed to a 3-year contract doesn't mean that he's guaranteed that he's going to be there in 3 years. NFL does not have any promised contracts, so they could turf you anytime and not have to pay the full thing out.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about contracts expiring. I got multitudes. Ricochet contract ends sometime this summer. Chad Gable's ends sometime this summer. We also have let's see. We also have Natalya, not our Natalya, but Natty, and Becky Lynch are officially free agents as of yesterday. So let's play the rumination of fantasy booking. Where do these guys eventually end up? Do they stay with WWE? Do they go free agent and they go, or the ones that are free agents, they sign with AEW, TNA, anywhere else?
I honestly think all of them but Natalya Neidhart remain in WWE.
Yeah.
Natalya's going nowhere. Her husband is there. But she's got more responsibility than you realise at the performance centre.
Yeah.
She is happy, but she's happy with what she's doing. This whole narrative of online that they've not used her properly or this, that, and I've never buy into that nonsense because
I absolutely do because she does not get the proper respect from the whole world that she deserves.
Yeah,
that's not in the WWE.
She'll get respect from the people in the back, but the world does not truly know what Natalya Neidhart can do.
Yeah.
And they're never going to are. And you know why? Because I've said this before, and I've said this about Oscar as well. Because she's female, right? And that's the real reason that Natalia is never going to
but
get the pop she's going to get.
She's
And she's
booked like
not
a
going
joke.
to. She's not going to
booked
get
like
it
a joke
anywhere else.
compared to the rest of the women.
She's not going to get it anywhere else either. You know.
You have a tournament coming up for All In.
Yeah.
She wins it. You have this cool moment.
Yeah. You have this great moment.
Well, I'm
I
not
mean-
really seeing it. Martha hates the
It
heart.
doesn't matter. Martha's
Oh,
not
no.
a
It
booker.
does. It does.
Well,
I mean, and that's another bone of contention as well. Martha Hart's at the arena. What do? They string up and they pull up Darby Allin up 15 feet into the air. What
Doesn't
an
have to do
absolute
with
moron!
anything.
That has a lot to do with it. You
It
know,
doesn't.
who
Has
wants to
nothing
go?
to do with Natalia. Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
the thing to remember is this:
Stay on topic.
the winner of the Owen Hart Cup gets a shot at All In
Oh,
for the women's championship or the men's championship, depending
it's
on
not.
the bracket.
It's not Natalia, right? It's not Natalia that's winning that. What was it? What was
If
it?
she gets if she's signed, that's a big if. She's winning it. There's no way she doesn't.
And again, that word institutionalized pisses me off as well. People need to stop this narrative. Like, just because you want a certain wrestler in your federation or your promotion doesn't mean they're being ill treated. You know, what was it? You are doing. It's you that's doing Natalia a disservice. Not me as a fan of Natalia. It's you, Canada Dry, that's doing Natalia a disservice because you haven't actually looked into what she's done and what she's achieved. What was it in the WWE? She's done so much over there. If she goes, then fair enough. I'll what was it? I'll say I was wrong.
So
But
I'm doing her a disservice because I want her to have more.
yeah, what more can she have?
She
Tell me
could
what more
have
she can
that moment honoring her uncle.
Yeah.
What? Oh, well, a shitty tournament. What? You know, the last 2 years, it's an absolute. That tournament is an absolute.
My
disgrace.
name is Alex Haney, and I hate AEW. Just so you know.
Oh, my name is Canada Dry, and I hate everything to do with any other wrestling promotion, barring EW, because I've got a rod stuck so far up my ass.
You have a
But
rod
I-
stick up your ass. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
You should take care of that.
like,
You told me last night there's a cream for that. I think there's a cream for that, Rob.
Yes,
So-
there is.
yes. What's in your prick? Okay, stop it. I'm being deadly serious now.
I'm being dead serious too.
I'm being deadly serious now. Do not disrespect me, you arsehole. Okay? I will not tolerate
You
it.
were disrespecting first. So just cut
I
it
never.
out.
No.
Behave.
I did not disrespect you. You disrespected me.
You said I have a thing stuck in my ass, and I switched it around on you, and you didn't like it. That's how it was.
No. You
Yeah.
you turned under and called me a hater. Okay? So you know what?
Well, your
That was it.
narrative is obvious. I'm not talking shit about
No.
anyone.
Do not speak about my narrative when you are an absolute AEW fanboy, you little asshole. Okay?
Get the fuck off my show.
Let's calm down for a second. Let's go to our next one. Jake Hager, no longer wrestling for AEW. Jay Hager has been released quietly, and Jeff Hardy's contract is coming up soon. So, my question to you guys, the three of us, is Jake Hager. Does he go back to WWE? What happens to what's going to happen to Jake Hager down the line? Canada Dry.
I think you see him on like MLW and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You'll see him in TNA. Either that, or he just focuses on the other stuff.
Okay. Showtime.
Honestly, I don't think WWE is going to have an interest in him in this late in his career. I don't think they could really. It's not like, let's face it, he's a dud of a character. I mean, he's a great wrestler and stuff. I like the guy, but
Yeah.
it's just he's not. That's why they got rid of him to begin with. So I don't see, MLW or retirement at this point. Things along, or
Now, we're talking about Forbidden Door, and obviously there's a lot of connotation to the Forbidden Door. The pay-per-view itself on AEW, in fact, is between New Japan, CMLL, and AEW. Did you know that WWE has a Forbidden Door? Triple H kind of kicked it open. Now, Is it a bigger promotion? Not really. It's TNA, which is doing really good stuff right now, despite the fact that their leadership is all good but gone. When Tommy Dreamer is your senior executive, that might be an issue. But on NXT last week, Jordan Grace showed up, and then Ethan Page showed up, which means that Ethan Page is no longer with AEW. Now, Ethan Page has come out and said that publicly that I am not signed with any company. I am a complete free agent, which I don't buy, because WWE tends to not just put anybody they want to on a show. But Jordan Grace is actually going to fight Roxanne Perez in a winner-take-all at Battleground. Canada Dry. Does Jordan Grace have a snowball chance in hell
No.
to win the NXT championship?
No.
No.
I imagine it's a 50-50 booking thing.
Yeah.
She wins there. She wins the TNA. But if you were smart, if you're going to do 50-50 booking,
Yeah.
you would have Jordan Grace win at Battleground.
Yeah.
And then vice versa.
Yeah, that's true too.
That was what I would do.
Yeah.
If you could work that out properly.
Thoughts on Ethan Page?
I think it's good for Ethan Page. I think that I was happy that he showed up there.
Yeah.
And it's just good for the business that they have that other place to go. When I think Ethan Page should become the NXT World Champion.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, right now they don't have him on any type of he's not signed to anywhere at the moment either. So it's not like he's actually part of the whole crossover thing. But I kind of had a feeling. Ethan Page wasn't properly utilized at AEW at the end. He was good. The package with him and Scorpio Sky was pretty decent. It just didn't get put. Well, and then injuries happened too, unfortunately. That's the name of the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So, but with far as Jordan, I see it's just to try to make it a 50-50 book ending and not make Jordan look weaker. I just see some kind of screwball or screw job finish just so, to kind of keep the partnership, not to make one person look weaker than the other or whatever. Just kind of screw and then lead to some kind of other match in the future, maybe.
Yeah. So Tony Khan, it's been announced on the dirt sheets, Tony Khan not happy. And Tony Khan's come out and said he's not really happy with the television deal that Warner Brothers Discovery is giving him. Now comes the news of what that deal is, and it's at about $100 million a year between Warner Brothers Discovery to AEW to keep them on TV, eventually moving their pay-per-views and their catalog to eventually Max at this point. Canada Dry, lay it on us. Who's telling the truth? Who's not?
Go to Showtime first.
Showtime.
Or what was the question? Paying the chat attention to the chat for a second.
Yeah. So essentially, Warner Brothers is offering $100 million a year. Supposedly, that's the going rate for AEW. Tony Khan says it's not.
Honestly, it's kind of, we don't know until there's actually something put. We don't and until there's actually maybe another competitive offer too. 100 million might be the ask and might be the proper going rate, but it's. I don't know. It's HBO going to see value at that package too, at that price?
Yeah, true. Canada.
Yeah, I think that it's you got people in the dirt sheets looking for clicks.
Yeah, that too.
And this is all it's about. They're making their opinions. They are literally, they are no different than what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna say stuff, our opinions, and because they're well-known thing, they're gonna get people to repost this Dave Meltzer said this, whoever said this.
Yeah.
And everyone's just speculating at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tony Khan's been we got two more items really quickly. Tony Khan is talking about making Dynamite 3 hours long. Now you look at the you look at the initial ratings, then the +3s and the +7s, and you realize that ratings are not exactly going up. They're staying steady, maybe a slight decline here and there, but they're staying somewhat steady at about 700,000 viewers every week for Dynamite. Does Dynamite need to be 3 hours? Canada Dry.
It's hard to say no to when someone's offering you more time and more money. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, would anyone turn that down? I don't think anyone would turn that down.
Yeah. No.
So as a fan, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Should it be 2 hours? Like it's there's all this sorts of logistics to say no, 2 hours is best, but
Yeah.
because that's your flagship show.
Yeah. Absolutely. Showtime.
My personal opinion, it might be a little oversaturation at that point. And then especially if you think people forget too, if you're taking into now the live show, they usually want to book one of their secondary shows, like tape one of their secondary shows like Rampage too. So now you got a minimum 4 hour a night if you're going to a Dynamite show, right? So, because even the night we went to Collision, they were doing the ROH and the Rampage that night because there was a live Rampage that Saturday night, and that was good, probably a 4 hour show plus. By the time we left, like we watched 3 hours, and there was still a lot of wrestling that happened before all that, and then after. So, and as far as TV too, that's why I find Raw hard to watch these days because it's just you're literally 3 hour shows is like watching a pay-per-view event every Monday now at this point. You know what I mean? So unless you could properly book it and not put a lot of that, because that's another problem that you book a 3 hour show, you're going to start having now 10, 15-minute promos and a bunch more promos with Dynamite, which WWE does way too much of that. So I don't want to see AEW go into that direction either, right? So
I mean, I think in all honesty, if they're smart, they'll use it for more TV time for the actual wrestling product, especially in the women's division. Like I know the women's division is hurting. I know the women's division is very bare bones right now. I mean, it's running on empty at this point. When you don't have a really big name to challenge Tony Storm, who's killing it right now. But eventually, this shine's going to wear off when you don't have competition. You know, Jamie Hayter is out, Britt Baker's out. I mean, there's a multitude of women who are not wrestling right now for AEW. 3 hours is, like I love Serena D, but like, do we really need 3 hours? I don't think we do.
Well, but that's the problem is that no one is going to turn down 3 hours.
No way will. I'll watch it. The only thing that's going to piss me off.
It's not but like if you're a promotion and you're getting the opportunity to do 3 hours, no one is going to turn it down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Like originally they were offered 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then they made Rampage instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I'll put it though like this: if it goes to a streaming package, maybe 3 hours isn't too bad then weekly, because at least you could pause it midway through and stuff. It sucks more when it's a 3 hours live event, right? Unless you got it on PVR and stuff like that. But you know what? If it does finally get a streaming package, maybe a lot easier to watch a 3 hour episode. Then you can piece it together, like pause it or whatever you want, right? So
yeah. All right, guys, that's our end of our news. It was informative. It was fun. It was educational. We had a brouhaha. Can't a dry one. Well,
let's not bring that up.
Let's not talk about it. But yeah, so that's the news. Let's get to what I'm really excited about, and that's our main event. Hit it.
Gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
guys, it is time for the main event. And as always, when we're dealing with the main event, well, we have to have a really cool placard. And that's ours. I Heart heel turns, the greatest heel turns of all time. Now, we're going to do it draft style because, in all honesty, we have way more fun draft style than we do any other style. So here's what I want to do. I want you to pick 4 classic heel turns and then one that's current within the last 10 years. You know, something that's been a little bit more current. So we put the bingo balls in the bin and we rolled it really hard. I dug deep in. I pulled out the first ball. Canada Dry, you go first.
All right, I'm going to get my current one right out of the way.
Yeah.
Something that's on everyone's mind that just happened.
Yeah.
We're talking a double or nothing. Chris Statlander heel turn.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. We saw it
I-
coming, but it was good.
Yeah, we did, but we weren't sure. Like, I love the way they put this together.
Yeah.
One had black, one had white. With Stokely, and Stokely was getting mad, and Statlander pushed him down. Like and then it was perfect.
Yeah, it was
great.
It was expected. I mean, we talked about it multiple times on the show on Dynamite After Dark, and some of the Sunday shows that the Statlander turn is eventually coming. And even when you knew it was going to happen, you're like, they're walking up the ramp. We know it's going to happen. It still felt so good to watch Chris.
Yeah, the thing about, because you get some surprise turns.
Yeah.
But you get ones that are telegraphed, and you just when.
All right, let's go to Showtime Shane.
Well, I'm pretty sure these bingo balls were frozen, kind of like the Knicks draft back in the day. The temper in the envelope. But so I'll go with current. And then another one, just like we were all expecting it, the lead up, it was there. And they had a hell of a match in the main event at All In. Adam Cole and MJF. Like, we all saw it coming. That buildup was a long term. I mean, yes, it was a kind of shitty payoff, the way they kind of ended the storyline, but we saw the storyline coming. I did wish somebody else was the devil, but that was a great turn with Adam Cole turning on MJF. And then even a more beautiful touch, their first encounter in months, and MJF kicks him in the nuts the other night. Double or
I
Nothing.
kick him in the nuts. It was great.
Yeah, that was great.
I'll say this. It was brilliant. Because, again, this was pretty known it was going to be Adam Cole. You knew he was going to turn on MJF. You just knew
There was going to be a faction coming from it, most likely, too.
Yeah. But the fact that they drew it out perfectly, like you sketched it so perfectly, and you handed it over to the color guy who's going to color the comic book for you. And he colors it perfectly. And it's a first issue. And you read it, and you're like, this is freaking amazing. That's exactly what happened when Cole turned on MJF. Canada, your thoughts really quick.
Yeah, I think it was good. We're done with the Cole thing still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Cole turn.
yeah. I thought I pretty much said my comments on it. But,
Yeah. I'm going to go with my current one. I like to get that out of the way. And it happened in 2020. So not so current, but pretty close. It happened
2
during
years.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was Roman Reigns turning heel, creating the bloodline, and creating probably one of the great runs as a world champion. 3, almost 4 years he held that belt.
But
And
did he really turn?
He did, because he was still a face when everybody was booing him. He still was a baby face. And the fact that he kind of went heel.
But what was the moment that he turned heel?
Yeah, I kind of don't even remember the switch, to be honest. You're right. He started as face, and then, it was somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember the moment.
I'm trying to remember the moment. I can't remember.
It's just like it's a good heel turn because he was a great heel.
Yeah.
That
I
moment.
don't remember when it just gradually happened.
I think, did you just come out, acknowledge me?
yeah, just like
I mean, you
Elvis
know
like
how
that.
that works.
You know what it was? As soon as he got Paul Heyman on his team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was, or there was a screw job finish with one of the cousins helping him protect. Oh, maybe it was it to do with Jimmy then? Whichever Uso wasn't injured and he had the feud. Was that when it started?
No. It started when he turned on Bray Wyatt. Yeah, he turned on Bray Wyatt in August of 2020. He turned on Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and sided with Paul Heyman. That's essentially when the that's kind of weak.
Wild. Like honestly, it's not like I was watching then, but it's not registering in my head at all.
You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to go a different direction. Bayley heel turn when she beat the living hell out of Becky Lynch. That's what I'm going with.
Hey, that entrance when she came out and killed the Bayley buddies was awesome with the axe. That was epic.
All I gotta say is, wow, that's pretty awesome. Bayley going just dark. Like, I didn't like her heel run per se, but yeah, it was pretty good. So let's go to our next.
Building Damage Control too. That's been one of the best women's heels factions in a long time.
Very long time. I mean, last time I remember was the Bomb Angels. I don't think there was ever really a true women's heel faction.
Maybe whatchamacallit, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky and whoever they usually get it. They're beautiful people, and then they became the Allure in ROH. I just have to say, put them there.
Let's go with Canada Dry. Canada Dry, what's your next pick?
I'm going with the double turn. Ooh. WrestleMania. Bret Hart turns heel. Stone Cold turns face. This was one of the rare times in history with the double turn.
Yes.
And double turns are really cool.
I mean,
the art of it to make it work.
Yep.
To get those fans to buy in.
Yep.
It was just perfect.
I think I completely agree. This was an amazing turn because it created an evil Bret Hart in only America. Mind you, throughout Canada, everywhere else in the world, this guy was still a face and still.
That was one of the most amazing splits where you're the greatest heel in one area, and then you just cross a border or take a flight there, and you're international hero. Like if
and that heel American character of Bret Hart.
Yeah,
that was a great run.
Oh,
that was such a great run by him.
The way he talked down about America, oh, your healthcare sucks. You guys are all on welfare and things along that nature. Like honestly, that was one of my favorite sides of Bret Hart was just absolutely dumping on America on a weekly basis. And honestly, that match alone, you got to put it up there with like the top 10 at least, maybe 50. Nah, it depends who's list matches at WrestleMania because that was an absolute great match, especially with Stone Cold bleeding out and Ken Shamrock is the guest referee.
Yep. I mean, to me, I would say that's probably one of the best runs Bret Hart's ever had in his career was that anti-American run. Like it's in the top 3, top 4. I think his first run as the world champion was really good, but I think that double turn led to probably one of his most successful angles in all his career because it definitely wasn't NWO and Goldberg, that's for sure.
Well, even the first match between him and Stone Cold, where he came back after that hiatus from losing the title, that Survivor Series match between those two was freaking pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they had a great series of matches. Showtime Shane, who's your next pick?
Well, since we're on the theme of the Hearts, I'm going to have to go with the Owen Hart turn on Bret Hart and Survivor Series. That was pretty, especially when you had the entire family there ringside. Martha all cried, no, what are you doing to my son or whatever? Like, that was a pretty epic moment.
And that led to 2 amazing matches, SummerSlam and WrestleMania. Like, it was downright just one of the great brothers versus brothers matches you will ever see. it's one of the great matches you'll ever see. Screw the fact that they're both brothers. I mean, that just added to it. But
You know what my favorite thing about this heel turn for Owen
yeah,
was he was at the bottom of the card,
Yeah, exactly.
and now he's at the top of the card instantly. No middle.
And then at that point on, he started doing mediocre. Like he's went on the rise, winning all the international, intercontinental titles. His tag teams when he first originally with Anvil, so he had the ex-Brett connection right there. Now on his side, and then eventually leading to him and Bulldog, him and Yokozuna, that was a great tag team. Him and Bulldog were a freaking amazing tag team.
Yep.
And then just like when the slam, I remember when Bulldog won the European title and they were tag champs, and they're kind of making note. Owen's like, well, he's got 2 titles and I got 2 Slammies.
Do you remember when this heel turn actually was planted? This was when Owen was with High Energy. And
Yeah.
Coco Beware.
Oh,
Razor Ramon attacked Owen.
yeah.
And that's when it all kind of was planting the seeds to it.
So I'm going to go with mine. It's still a little current, but it's well enough in the past. We don't have to worry about it. And that is this: Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor, when he turned on Taguchi and created one of the greatest factions of all time, which we've talked about. It's in the archives. Go and listen. When he created Bullet Club, and the fact that the violence that he used against Taguchi was stomach turning at times. He beat him horribly. And the fact that he's holding his head and he's got the guns.
That's one of the most iconic pictures in New Japan. Is that exact first time Finn did that, man? That was Prince. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it was just brilliant. Like, what a way to create a heel stable. There's only one that was even better than the Bullet Club turn and eventually creating Bullet Club. But I digress. We'll get to that. That might be an honorable mention, if you will. But I'm going to go with I want to go Showtime Shane first on this one.
Ooh. My next one, actually, it's going to piss some people off. It's somewhat current. It happened during the COVID era. The Young Bucks finally turning heel when Kenny Omega was trying to start the super faction when he had Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows and stuff. Just that whole setup and that final turn. I can't remember who those guys are beating. That might have been Christian Cage or whatever because of Kenny's title run right there and that. But the whole setup of the Bucks looking really conflicted. They didn't want to do it. And then finally something snapped in them. Boom. And then they did that iconic moment at the end of the show where they all did the 2 Sweet at the end with Carl and Gallows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that Young Bucks heel turn where they flip-flopped right there is pretty, yeah.
I like it. Kind of dry. Lay it on me, brother.
The Bullet Club, I don't really know much about it. I didn't really watch too much of it, so
yeah.
I'm going to have to leave my opinion out of it.
Okay. Well, let's go with your next pick.
All right, my next pick is one of the greatest heel turns of all time. Andre the Giant turns on Hulk Hogan, rips off the crucifix. Roddy Piper, you're bleeding. That's one of the greatest lines in wrestling. You're bleeding, Hulk. You're bleeding. You got to acknowledge Roddy Piper there because he provided the backdrop. He provided the interviewer. Like if you had Mean Gene, it wouldn't have quite have been the same.
Yeah.
So just I think that was such a great heel turn, and it was at the right time. And had it been a year later, we wouldn't have got the proper match.
Yeah. I think in all honesty that when you look at that turn, I think it was the first time I remember growing up where I felt Hulk Hogan could possibly lose his world championship.
Yeah.
Like you knew essentially it would probably not happen on that big of a stage, but you felt like Andre might have a cold day in hell. He might have the warm day. He might have a cold day in hell and a snowball chance in hell and actually be able to beat Hulk Hogan. Like it was so epic.
The joining the Heenan family back then,
Yeah.
that was you had absolute heat on you to have anything to do with Heenan or anything associated with Heenan. So it was a great putting Andre with Heenan family at that point too for that turn. Like it just sold it perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think that there was nothing even close. Like it was diabolical. He had his grips on Andre the Giant, and the look on Hulk's face when his eyes got super wide, you're like, oh shit, this could happen. This could be a title change. I'm gonna stick with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Guess who's the third man? It's Hulk Hogan. That's right. Hulk Hogan turning on WCW and creating one of the greatest factions of all time, the NWO, the New World Order.
You can stick it, brother.
You can stick it, brother. I've listened to podcasts, Eric Bischoff's podcast, Bruce Pritchard's podcast, everybody who covered who was going to be the third man initially, who was it going to be, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. When Hulk came out, and I watched this live, this was one of the few WCW pay-per-views I actually watched live. I don't know why. I think the build-up to find out who the third person was going to be. And when Hogan came out, I go, oh, business is about to pick up. Here comes Hulk Hogan. And he gets in the ring, and I go, he's going to turn on Macho Man, ain't he? And I was like, oh, my God, he turned on the Macho Man.
Well, I mean, they literally set it up for the moment he got in the ring, you could see, oh, yeah, he's going to throw the leg drop right here. There's no way he wasn't.
I mean, it was so well orchestrated.
Oh, and then the whole thing with the Kevin Hall or Scott, that.
Except for Bobby Heenan. Whose side is he on?
Yeah.
But like it's just the whole build-up with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, making it still look like they're employed by WWE and they're like literally trying to invade the company, and that was well orchestrated. That was perfect.
I mean, you needed to sell that. That's
And
all.
Hulk Hogan at the time had become stale as a baby.
Yeah.
Horrible. I mean, his big matches, like against Ric Flair, against some of the other guys, Kevin Sullivan's crew, just were not good. They were horrible and so bad. And then when he came in at Bash at the Beach and he dropped that leg on Macho Man, and I went, oh, good Lord, what have we started? And they started a revolution. 83 weeks, beating WWE in the ratings is huge. You'll never see that again. Never.
So how many we got left each?
We got multitudes left. We got two more each.
Okay.
So let's go with Canada Dry first.
By the way, I think it's Shane's turn, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go Shane.
Oh, that.
How many of you said Shane? You got your 3 down?
Yeah, he's got 3.
Yeah. Man, I just had one on the top of my head. And
Yeah, you got 3. I got 3. So yeah, I'll go with my next one then.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm going with Chris Jericho turning heel on Shawn Michaels and sending him through the Jeritron 5000. This feud, this heel turn by Jericho was the best in his career.
Yeah.
That heel turn right there. Nothing better in
Yeah.
his whole career.
That was pretty badass. I mean,
That was my favorite feud in WWE. Like it's right up there. I love that feud between Jericho and Michaels. It was so good.
I love how they kind of recreated it with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho later on.
yeah.
Now
I do.
you might be putting that on your list with Kevin Owens' turn. I don't
No,
know if
I'm not putting
that's-
that.
They were both heel, right? So
No,
that
he
doesn't-
was already healed. The only thing happened was Chris Jericho. That's why I wouldn't touch that one. But yeah, the only reason because Jericho turned more face there. So if we're gonna do a face turn one, that might be. Yeah, no, I was epic. When I was checking the list earlier, I saw that. That was one of the first ones to pop out. I go, oh yeah, that's when Jericho accidentally punched Michael's wife in the face too.
Yes.
Because And Michaels was choked. He was ready to kill Jericho backstage, and then she's the one. She goes, "No, you know what? It's okay, honey. Like it was an accident." And she actually loved the fact that she got drilled on national TV or whatever it was.
I think the big thing with Jericho with me is, out of all the personas that Jericho's ever had in his entire career, that was the best one, because it was a combination of Harley Race and Anton Sugar from the movie. Shoot, now I totally forgot the name of the movie.
That was when he actually stuck to the character. No signing autographs. He didn't even have new merchandise come out or anything like that because he wanted to be the. And that's when he said. I remember him. I think it was on his podcast one time, said he almost got punched out in the MSG parking garage elevator because the guy with kids like signed my autograph and stuff, but he was just trying to stay in character. And he got bit in Victoria near mine in Canada Dry Parts, just on the island. He was trying to leave, and then some chick grabbed up and bit his arm or something like that.
The name of the movie is No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Yes, that's one of my favorite movies.
Brilliant movie, but the character Anton Sugar from that was played in that movie is just diabolical, and Jericho just, oh man, that was so awesome. I'm gonna go with oh man, you know, there are so many that I can go with, but I am gonna go with, oh shoot,
I gotta keep reminding the one in my head so I don't keep forgetting. I'm gonna keep telling myself, remember that.
I think
You have a list down there. Is it all in your head?
It was all in my head, and I have it on my phone too, though. But
I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels again, but this time I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels turning on someone. You might know him. It's Marty Jannetty.
I was going with this. I was like, please don't take it.
that was on my list too.
Super kicks him through a window on the barber shop with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And Shawn Michaels, here is a lifeless body of Marty Jannetty hanging in the broken window, and Shawn Michaels just pops the collar and just cuts probably one of the great heel promos of all time.
But Bobby Heenan's comment on commentary, Jannetty's a coward and jumped through the window.
It just was brilliant. It was amazing. What do you think, Canada Dry?
I absolutely love this. It is one of the top heel turns in all of wrestling, because they were a very beloved team at the time.
Yeah.
The Rockers were such big baby faces, this propelled Shawn to greatness. And even though they wanted something from Marty out of this, it just didn't work out.
No, it didn't. That career.
Like, I think Marty was just at the time was just as good as Shawn.
Oh yeah.
His popularity was just as good too.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't even mean just that. I just mean as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he might have even had more technical side to him, if memory serves me correct, compared to Shawn.
Yeah. Let's go with Showtime Shane.
Okay, once I had forgot it, I had to say it in my head. I'm like, say it. Stone Cold Steve Austin when he joined the Devil with himself, Vince McMahon.
Oh.
That had to be one of the most disrespectful heel turns for WWE fans ever. Especially the fact they had the meteoric freaking feud. And then that parlayed into them working together. That was,
yeah, that was.
And then the stuff with him and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
With that, first him and Triple H. Man, when they had that mega team where they had the tag team titles and he was world champ and Triple H was IC champ. I mean, it wasn't promoted that good, but they were still a powerhouse team if you want to think about it. Like, it could have been packaged a little bit better, but I was WWE for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken Dry, what are your thoughts?
I think it sucked. I hated this. I hated heel Stone Cold to joining Vince McMahon. I hated it. Like I think they were grasping at straws at this point, and it was just it was desperate.
I
don't
mean,
think
it was a swerve. I mean, for sure. You did not.
But its shelf life, it had no shelf life.
Oh, it died like almost immediately. Like it lasted slightly longer than the Bang Bang Scissor Gang in AEW.
But then it parlayed into other things. Just don't forget, then it parlayed into Stone Cold joining the Alliance.
Yeah.
But that also died quickly too.
That's an excellent.
I'm gonna go with mine, and I'm gonna go with this. These guys have a history of turning on each other like there's no tomorrow. It's been on the Indies. They've done it in Ring of Honor. They did it in NXT.
Oh, son of a bitch.
We did it on the main roster.
We did it on the main roster. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Those two guys are so.
And it's always Kevin, right?
Huh?
It's mostly Kevin doing the turning.
Yeah, it's mostly Kevin turning on. Yeah, it's Kevin Steen. Normally,
Until the bloodline went. That was on my list. Was that very one with the El Generico and Kevin Steen?
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that these guys just, I mean, their blood runs together. I mean, they are the bestest of friends in real life. They love each other. They respect each other, but their careers were built on beating the hell out of each other. I mean, that's pretty good. When you can, because like they've had multitudes of times when they were tag champs and they just turn on each other. You know, Steen would just attack Generico.
Yeah, that's where Steen would become the heel all the time. When Steen becomes the heel, man, his heel side was great.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of the Steen turning, or I mean Owens turning on Chris Jericho-esque. Like that's all when he turns. He turns on the guy. He doesn't just turn on you. He destroys you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what made it. I mean, that to me, that's what made that. That's what made that work. Is that you felt that there was an animosity between those. Like at NXT when Kevin Owens came in and powerbombed Sami Zayn on the apron, and you were just like, wow. And the fact that they made reference that this is not the first time this has happened. But that crowd were stunned watching Sami Zayn being powerbombed into the corner of the ring or the ring over and over again. It was just it was so beautifully written.
It was brilliant. Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant.
Canada Dry, who are you going with your next pick?
My last pick is my very first heel turn I can remember as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Paul Orndorff turning on Hulk Hogan in their big match on Superstars. I was in shock as a kid seeing this. Hulk Hogan was doing the funky chicken. I was just, me and my sisters were like, what? My sister goes, if Hulk Hogan had been fresh, he could have kicked his ass. But like, to me, this was my first heel turn that I've ever seen. And I was in shock.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean, when you look at Paul Orndorff, at that time, him and Hogan were like buddies in the ring, you know, like
One and two. Like,
oh yeah, I don't ever recall me going, big deal. Like I was stunned because I think that was my first heel turn too, was watching Orndorff beat the hell out of Hulk Hogan. And you were like, no, not Hulk Hogan. You guys are friends. Later did I realize the error.
And I think that was Hulk Hogan's first real betrayal of someone on him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't a monster of the month or the villain of the month that he was going to have to beat at a pay-per-view. Like it legitimately was. It was my first turn, and it hurt. Like I felt bad for Hulk Hogan.
It was hard to go to sleep after that because you were wired. You're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have to end the show, but we have a little bit of time. I want to do honorable mention. So one honorable mention for everybody. Canada Dry, you go first. What's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is a twofold.
Oh, intriguing.
AJ Styles turning on Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And Mark Henry turning on John Cena. They redid the whole thing.
Yep.
what about
Yeah.
10 years later ish?
Yep.
Which it is a little bit of lazy booking there,
yeah.
but it is also a
Especially
tribute.
wearing the suit too. The fact that he's actually in a
They
suit.
knew what they were doing there. They
Yeah.
were doing it on
Oh, yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
But is it lazy booking or is it a tribute?
I think it's a tribute.
Yeah.
I don't
A little
think
bit
it's
of both.
looking. I think it's
Yeah.
a tribute because they kind of were building up to it, with AJ asking for one more title shot before the end of his reign. And I mean, we got Kush.
If he comes in, he's turning. There he goes, little circle. Failed to connect.
What is your showtime?
Back to the Hulk Hogan being turned on theme. Probably one of the best. I don't know how this actually didn't make any list, and it should have made mine originally. Macho Man turn.
Oh,
when they went from Mega Powers, and that his heel turn run was freaking amazing, which parlayed to the Macho King later on and stuff like that. But yeah, and then him hooking up with Scary Sherry instead of Miss Elizabeth now, so the evil Miss Elizabeth. Yeah, it was well played heel run.
What about this? We're gonna do this. I'm throwing in an extra honorable mention because what about Hulk Hogan's real life heel turn? Being racist, turning on his best friend Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah.
And he's turned on his best friend Macho Man too in real life too.
He turned on a lot of people. Real life Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, him and Brett were friends. He turned on Brett too because Brett was climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go with mine. Everybody knows I'm a huge Japanese wrestling fan. Love New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was tough because I was gonna go with Larry Zbyszko versus what's his name? Zbyszko turning.
There we go. There he is.
There's Kush. Kush, who you want to add something to this list?
Yes, I do. I actually had about a few people in mind, but I wouldn't mind actually making
If you want to do it, if you want to we're almost done here. But if you want to name a bunch of them, go ahead. Go off
Shoot, man.
All right. Let me think. The first thing that comes to mind when it comes to heel turn is definitely got to be Triple H when he turned his back on his old buddy, his old chum, homie of his, X-Pac at WrestleMania 15, when he wanted to change him and China, and they went to their allegiance to a corporation.
Yeah.
Screwing X-Pac and the rest of DX altogether, before it became the game, Triple H.
Yeah.
That's definitely, you got to put it up there because that move definitely changed his career, man, for the better. And the rest is, they all say is history.
Yep.
But also in the same lighting, his rival, man, the man that knows everything when it comes to promos and stuff, the great one, The Rock, he did the exact same thing against the old original member in Farouk in the Nation of Domination before he took over as a leader.
Yep.
Well, even that's just a heel turn on its own. When The Rock showed up, we saw him as Rocky Maivia all these years, and he was a very obnoxious good guy. And he showed up to the ring, and I can't remember who he rock bottomed that time. And that was also a brand new movie just brought out too.
Yeah.
And then it's now we have The Rock, not Rocky Maivia anymore.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's like the same guy, but there's two different personalities, and he just went right over to the other personality and became the great one, man, we all know and love, our face.
Yeah.
Also a recent one though too, I have to say it because exactly what happened last week when he became really more dirty than we give him credit for, and that's old Dominic Mysterio when he turned on his father Rey Mysterio and Edge, even after he had a big win against Judgment Day, and they were supposed to celebrate. What did he do? He kicked Edge straight in the nuts, and then he closed on his own dear old dad in front of millions watching home.
Yep.
That was awesome. I mean, you kind of felt like something was going to happen there, but you didn't know what was going to happen. It kind of left us in the wings, but as soon as it happened, I was like, damn it, he did.
Yep.
Definitely helping his career though too. I mean, he's more famous now. I mean, he's with all the new, generation and stuff right now. Very few men can probably surpass him when it comes to notoriety, man, for what he's known for.
Yeah, absolutely. You got any more?
I'm trying to think. Trent, man. I mean, he just turned on Orange Cassidy.
This is a great now one. This is a good now one. Perfect. I can't
great
believe I think of that.
I mean, the way they're about to hug, he did with, all the best friends, and then he turned and he just steamrolled right over and just beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Well
That's
booked right
the
there
perfect
in his
heel
heel
one.
turn.
I love it.
Beautiful how Chris and Trent are pretty much almost at the same time turned heel.
Yeah.
Especially there was that lead up when Chris was giving him shit like he's your best friend, and then Trent said something in her ear. So that was kind of like the seeds being planted there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I'm going to do my last one, and that's going to be Tetsuya Naito, who went on excursion, comes back. He's spent time in AAA and CMLL. He comes back and he reveals that he is going to start a branch of Los Ingobernables called Los Ingobernables de Japan, and became probably one of the second greatest heel faction ever in the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hell yeah.
It was beautiful.
yeah.
It was gorgeous. It brought a tear to my eye. A lot of tears. I was so happy to see him back in New Japan doing what he did best when he was in Mexico, which is create havoc.
And they did a press conference too. Mexico did a press conference when he joined. What was it? Rush was on stage or whatever too. They welcome him to the faction.
Yep.
That was well played. And the fact they completely 180'd his image too.
Yep.
Having now him in a suit and stuff like that when he comes to the ring, that was well played because his character as a face was kind of like planned Japanese wrestler. I could say it. I'm half Japanese. So.
Guys, that's the end of our show. I mean, holy cow! Time to close the book on this week's episode of the All Effin' Wrestling Show. We closed the book that contains all my notes. What a great heel turns are some of the best. Maybe down the line we'll do face turns because there are some good face turns that have happened over the years, but heel turns much better, a lot more sad.
So I just want to address something because Alex and I got in a fight at the beginning of the show. And tempers got flared, and
I sure saw that. He was sure saltier than usual.
no, guys, don't. When it comes down to it, Alex is my friend. And I love him, and I love you, Alex. No hard feelings. Lift your fist in the air. Put the devil in a sharpshooter, and just keep fighting.
Ding, ding, ding.
This has been an Effin' Worldwide Media production. You can find us on all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and others. Head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Effin' Wrestling. And while you're there, click like and subscribe. Want some swag? Head to our store at prowrestlingtees.com/Effin' Wrestling. You can find all these links and much more at our awesome website, effinwrestling.com. As the JFB always says, you can book it.